Hi, welcome back to another tutorial. Today we're going to be doing how I render eyes for Clip Studio's December tips. Hope you enjoy. Okay, so I first started with an SRP eye. Usually these eyes, they're not too complicated, but they're a little more detailed than they would be in the smaller style. Anyway, so we first start with just the upper eyelash. It's more of a bar when I make it because they're all kind of sort of not individualized but put together. And then you see some eyelashes, for example, in the draft that stick out from the quote unquote bar. As I work on the eye, I also made built-in like sort of eyeliner like near the edge of the eye. That one is just because I blended the eyeliner with the eyelashes itself, so then it has that shape already. And then from there, I move on to the eye itself. I keep it the same color as the eyelashes, and then what separates it really is just the gradient and color as well as the pupil. So for me, I kind of invert it. So instead of the pupil being the blacked out or dark, it would be the color of what would be the iris, if that makes sense. And then from here, I start shading. I pick out the shade first because from there I need to be able to, what is it called? I need to be able to make the under eyelid a darker color than the shadow itself, like 2-3 tones darker and more red. Here I'm adding a little bit of lines just because those are creases in the eyelid, and then some individual eyelashes that are separated from the upper eyelids. Or sorry, eyelashes. And I keep going back and forth between a previous drawing and a more what I'm working on because I'm using it as reference. One of the things that I do when I'm drawing is I reference previous drawings of mine so I can keep it in consistency, for example, because I tend to do things differently with drawings almost always. So what I do is just go back for drawings and then say, okay, yeah, that's what I usually draw like. I don't know why, I just change it quite a bit. But overall, the same idea is kept. The gradient in the eye would be kept almost the same as the pupil. It would be a little bit darker because right now I'm using a dark color for the rest of the eye. So we're going to use a gradient that can stick out but not necessarily be the same as the pupil itself. And then I added a little line in the eye. That's because it's just kind of like a extra detail so it's not so bland. And then some blush. Here I was debating adding makeup on the eye itself, but I was like, whatever. I wasn't fully sure if I should introduce the makeup or not. It was a good idea, it's just that it's not something that I kept. And here we're going into some highlights. It would be in the corner of the eye and then the upper section. Something really discreet, not necessarily that stands out too much, just so you could give it that nice finishing look. So you have both shading and lighting. The best way I can describe it is when you see people do like makeup online, one of the places where they add highlight is usually like below the eye at the corner, and sometimes I've seen it done in the upper eyelid, so I was going with that. Okay, up next is super simple. This one is just one of the type of eyes that I make for cuter or smaller style drawings. It's a basically a big oval and then mm, a kind of C or a U upside down. And then from there, I want to keep it even. It would have been smart to use a vector tool, but it's okay. We're doing this freehand. And then I add the embedded eyeliner, which also adds in some eyelashes. The thing though, as it moves towards the end of the eyeliner, it gets a little bit thicker, so it doesn't keep the same sort of width from the beginning of the eye or left corner of the eye to right. So it gets a little more thick, if that makes sense. And then I made the left corner of the eye a little bit sharper. Here the lashes are a little more complicated because I don't always do the lashes. Sometimes I keep it very simple and just keep a bland eye with no real detailed eyelashes, and sometimes I do. So I decided this time that I might try out the eyelashes. It was a little bit complicated, yeah, because I kept changing my mind. I was like, maybe I should do it this way or maybe I should do it that way. But either way, this is typically how I would do it for detailed eyelashes. Most of the work is already done. You can see the eye there. And then I add the pupil. I'm keeping the same tones or colors as the same like as the first one, so nothing too complicated. And usually we want the upper eyelash to be bigger than the eye itself. This is literally just for looks. It can be smaller like how I had it. It's just that I typically prefer it to be bigger. And a little bit of blush. Nose blush. Again, super simple, pretty easy, straightforward. Okay, and that was a tutorial for two different types of eyes that I draw. They were pretty simple, nothing too complicated. It was literally just um, something simple and easy that I thought I should show you guys how I make them. And I also wanted to participate in Clip Studios December tips. It's been a while since I made a tutorial and I thought this would be a good return to that. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope this was able to help even if just a little. I know it can be tricky drawing eyes, so I thought something simple could help or help alleviate this type of struggle that it is to draw eyes. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.